Not many things bring people together in the same way as shared adversity. And almost all musicians that I know have gone through that starving artist period, or what I refer to as the grind. It's that time when you're actively pursuing a career in the arts before you've seen any real success. And today I want to talk about that and my experience with it. I've heard the analogy used that trying to find success in music is like walking through a thick and unmarked forest. While you might have a planned out path, it's pretty unlikely that you're going to come out the other side exactly where you thought you would. Many people will turn around and give up, but a select few will find their way after a long and arduous journey. Now, I don't think that I'm personally out of the woods quite yet, but after a long time, I can finally see the light. I began the grind my last year of university. My focus shifted from getting good grades, learning as much as I could, and preparing myself for a career in music to actually trying to figure out how to do this for a living. Initially, my plan was to write music full-time in Nashville, and it was down there that for the first time I encountered fellow musicians who were actively trying to get out of the woods. Now, all things considered, I've had a pretty good life. My struggles in the broad scheme of things are microscopic, but trying to make it as a musician is hard and it can get to you. If you're in the right circles, you're going to come across a lot of really talented and frustrated musicians. I became friends with a fellow Canadian down in Tennessee on that first visit. Him and I bonded instantly. Our accommodations were in pretty close proximity, and we'd often chat deep into the night about life. Let me tell you, discussions about music and the pursuit of success, paired with cheap American beer and Southern whiskey, is a great combination. We talked about this exact subject many times, and how people often don't see the dues that the successful have paid. My buddy had written countless songs over countless visits down south, and when I first met him, he was only starting to see the light. I'm happy to let you know that he's gone on to become a highly successful songwriter. His years hammering it out were very different than mine, and mine will be different than yours, and yours will be different than the next guy's. Before graduating, I put a lot of time into practicing, and played hundreds of gigs with different bands. But those were predominantly learning years. For my last year or two, right about now, I've been in the grind. It didn't take too long before I realized that being a staff writer in Nashville wasn't really what I wanted to do. There's part of me that desires the spotlight, and if anyone on YouTube tells you differently, they're lying. So I formed a band with the idea that we were going to write some great songs, put together an incredible product, and build some popularity by creating insane YouTube videos. I put my heart and soul into that band, and it failed. Failure is interesting though. We hit roadblock after roadblock, each one more and more frustrating and discouraging until I finally decided I had to do my own thing. So I made a YouTube channel. Those failures and shortcomings of that band made me more determined to succeed than I'd ever been before. I learned about what worked and what didn't work, so that when I was involved in a project that got some traction, I had the tools to develop and build it. But even YouTube for me wasn't an overnight success. I started making a full-time income through YouTube and the subtangents from it probably around April this year. Through the Skype lessons I teach, Patreon, AdSense, sponsor content, as well as a bunch of other things, I finally got to a point where I'm moderately comfortable. I'm not all the way out of the woods yet, but the worry that this is all for nothing and the small business won't pan out shrinks a little bit every day. There have been a lot of hours that will go monetarily unrecouped, but ultimately it's worth it because everything has been a learning experience. 16 years ago, I picked up guitar for the first time, and every day since then, the thing that I most wanted was to be a successful musician. Every experience along the way has been necessary for me to find the success that I have had. There have been a lot of moments, especially in recent years, where I've been very self-conscious of the fact that my friends are buying houses, getting married, having kids. Well, those things were not in my immediate horizon. I mean, I remember as recently as February of this year, wondering if I was better off doing music part-time and getting a real job. I really think all musicians deal with this during our tough years, and it affects our relationships, it affects our mental health. Trust me, there are a lot of easier ways to make money in this world, but the hunger that only music can satisfy keeps us going. That stubbornness, that unwillingness to break, the passion coupled with creativity and musical proficiency is a recipe for success. I guess to wrap this up, I want to thank you, whoever you are sitting in front of your screen, listening to me ramble on. You've made this possible for me. From the people who started watching early on, leaving encouraging comments about how an audience would eventually come, to those of you who are watching for the first time today, I couldn't do this without you. Every single one of the great things that has come into my life because of YouTube is because of you. If you're in the grind right now, remember that we all went through it, and we all had days where we wondered if we'd get out of it. And thank you for helping me get this close to the other side. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I make new videos every week, so if this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.